Oh hi, I'm Connor, and welcome to the Algonquin 2017 Oxford Robotics Challenge Robot Mark 1. So our challenge is we have a 6x6 board and 6 pieces accordingly, 1 for each square. Our robot needs to have 1 randomly selected piece, like this metal nut here, placed into the robot, and then it needs to go through a series of sensors here. We have 2 button sensors and a color sensor, and place it on the correct square. So we have 6 different types of pieces. We have a metal nut, a plastic tube, and a wooden dowel. And each piece has 2 varieties, a red variety and a green variety. So what we've planned to do is we're going to have this rolling chassis here, which programmed through this motor, we can move at a certain speed and how far we need to do. So that is placed there at the start of our robot. Further down the line from our base, we have a series of sensors. We have 2 button sensors and a 1 color sensor. Once it goes on here, it didn't press it, so it can either be a plastic tube or a metal nut. The next over, we have a slightly larger hole that won't go through the metal nut, but will go right through the plastic tube, so that tells us it's the metal nut and not the plastic tube. And then finally, it goes over a color sensor that tells us whether it's the red or green variety of the metal nut. And then on top of our rolling chassis, we have a second motion. In our final design, we will have a arm that shoots out from here, and then a counterweight on the back. And then shooting out from the arm, we have our very sophisticated gripper design.
This is the gripper and up and down motion mechanism thing. So so this is just here for testing purposes, but the motor will be spinning this gear, and this gear is spinning the gear rack, which is also spinning these 2 other gears to make it stable. And the gear rack goes up and down, and then we have a mechanism here where we have elastics holding in our object that we are going to be moving around, and these are stationary, so that when it goes up enough, far enough, then it will start pushing into this piece.
Thank you for listening to me. This is the Algonquin School Robotics Team Mark 1 edition. And this is Mark 2 of our wheeled base for Algonquin School Robotics Challenge. Since our last video, we have shortened the wheelbase in order to allow for full travel along the track without going off the base plate. And we've built a structure off of the main base. We've also increased the structural integrity of this, and we've lined up all the wheels so it rolls with incredible precision compared to the old one where the wheels were not lined up properly and it wasn't working.
So the program works it takes a proximity sensor, and it senses whether or not a hand or any foreign object is within the sensor. Which means, so when you're loading it, if someone pressed the button, it would not go because your hand's in the way, causing a safety concern. So once you load it and your hand is out of the way, you can press the button and then you'll start the program. So the program starts and it goes and starts sensing continuously how far away the D motor, which is the motor that goes this way on the base, so it goes past the sensors and all that. So however far away you are, it will do the calculations of how far you have to go in order to get back to home. And then once you start it, it will also start this loop, which will which will try and sense the color. If it is green, then it will be 3. If it's red, it will be 5. The motor will go closer to the sensors, and then the claw will go down, towards the color sensor, and it will shake a bit to try and sense the color. Then the claw will go back up, and then it will go and it will do a loop for the touch sensor, whether it is touched or not. And then while it's doing that, the D motor will move farther away from home, and then the claw will lower, try and touch the button, and wait, and then the claw will go back up. It will sense, was touch 1 true or false? If it was true, that means it is a dowel, because only a dowel will touch the first touch sensor. If it is false, it will go into trying to see what did touch sensor number 2 go. If touch sensor number 2 was true, that means it's a nut, because a nut will touch sensor number 2, but not number 1. If it is false, that means it's a tube, because a tube will not touch either of the buttons because the hole in the tube is too big. If it's red, it will go to the side and place it. If it is green, it will go forward to the side, place it. And then after it does any of those, it will check how far the D motor has moved, and then it will go and counter that and go back to home. And then, but if it was not a nut, which means not it was either a dowel or a tube, it will go into this, it will move forward because it knows it is not a nut, and it will ask itself, is it a dowel? If it is a dowel, it will move a bit more to the dowel column, and then it will move, and then it will ask itself what the color is. If it is red, it will go into the red row and place that. If it is green, it will go into the green row, place that, and then it will do the home maneuver again.